My number one problem on this boat is the internet, and not the speed, but the reliability. Let me explain. For work and for YouTube, I have to upload large files, and sometimes the speed is perfectly fine and sometimes it's through the floor. And yes, absolutely, speeds can vary depending on how many people are using the mobile phone masts, but this is a little bit ridiculous. So I got chatting to a small British company called Kuma, who make mobile Wi-Fi units, and they are specially designed for people that roam about in vehicles, so motorhomes, caravans and boats. I asked them if their products were any better than tethering from a mobile phone, and they gave a very clear answer. It will not be faster, but it will be more reliable and it will be better in weaker signal areas. So I did a bit of a cheeky and I said, oh, that drip is doing my head in. So I did a bit of a cheeky and thought, why not ask? I asked, can I try your products, and if I like them, I'll pay for them. If I don't, I'll send them back. And their reply was, how about you test the product, see if you like it, and make a video about your experience? And I said, absolutely, but it has to be honest. It has to be real world. I'm not going to say it's the best thing since sliced bread if it doesn't work. And they said, absolutely, we only do business honestly. So this video is all about my first day with a Kuma Connect Lite 4G. And right on cue, looks like the coffee's ready. Oh yeah, baby. Get in my veins. Holy sun. Now I haven't properly read this, but there is an instruction manual. Having set up Wi-Fi things before, I don't want to do that. I want to see if I can work it out myself. So I've opened up the box, had a look at all the components, and it seems to make sense. Here we have the main box that controls all of the internet stuff. You've got bits in the top for Wi-Fi Thingy, an object you forgot the name of, aka Ujima Flip or What's It. You have bits in the top for Wi-Fi antennas. These are these things, and they say Wi-Fi on them. They go on and screw on. So let's get that done, because these will not change. You need them to push internet through the boat once it's come into the box. You then need some sort of signal coming in. For the signal to come in, you need two things. Number one, you need a SIM card of some sort. The SIM card goes in this slot at the top. And what that then does, it's a bit like the brain. So this is your body, the SIM card is your brain, and it sort of makes sense of the outside world, okay? Then you need stuff coming in. So you are supplied as standard with these little LTE antenna. But the big problem is, depending on where you are situating this box, most likely it's going to be in like a little encased area, in something like that, so it's not completely on show. It might be around a lot of electronics, which can interfere with the signal, and therefore these things are not going to be best. You want your antennas out somewhere, ideally either outside of the boat or in the window. Okay, so that is where your antennas come in. You do have the Pro one, which is ideal, but that means you need to drill a hole in your boat to get this through and screw it on. Now you may find other ways of mounting that Pro antenna, which means you don't have to drill a hole in your boat, but I can't think of one right now, so I'm not going to try. You've then got this Play one, which has a handy suction mount, which fits either on the back or on the bottom. So you can either stick that to a surface, like a table, get off, or you can stick it to the window, which is what I'm definitely going to try in a little while. Now, whichever antenna you use, there are 2 ports to connect them to. So here, I'm just going to screw that one on there and this one on here. Now, one is labelled main LTE, the other is labelled div LTE. I do not know the difference, and there is no labelling on that. So I would assume you can connect either. Then what you have underneath is where you connect your power, which can either be 240 volt or it can be 12 volt. They are designed for roaming vehicles, etc. Be that motorhomes, be that camper vans, be that boats, whatever. So you may want to connect with a car charger, or you may want to connect with your standard 240. SIM card. I used to work in a mobile phone shop, and I always have problems with getting SIM cards in things. But the easiest way is you look at the box. Let's just show that there. You look at the box that it's there. You have a picture of how the SIM should look. So make sure the picture matches up. And then just pop that in. Okay, that's a nice clicky thing. So it's in, or you push down and it's out. Nice and easy. So now, all we should need to do is plug in the power, and then the rest is dealt with by connecting to the Wi-Fi like you would at home, like on a router. You have, on the back, you have your standard passwords and everything like that, which I will take a photo of so that I don't forget. Let's go, let's give it a go. In terms of power, I'm going to want to be connected into the Bluetti. Yeah, I want to be able to do that when I want internet when I'm out and about as well. So yeah, that makes sense. In terms of placement for the actual unit, I think what we'd do is we'd put it on the outside here. I don't know if you can see that again as well. Let's have a look. Ish. Right, let's zoom out a bit. So here, it's quite easy access. I'll be able to get power through and everything. I can drill through just here. And then antennas can be hidden as well, depending on where I end up putting those. Power, you're pinging out a Wi-Fi signal. It's saying that you've got 4G and it has an internet signal. So let's give it a try. Right, so to make this all fair, we need to connect to the same network, same way, etc. So let's get my SIM card out. They're eSIM cards. I better go to the shop and go and get another SIM card then. After a round trip to the shop, it was time to test the speeds. Right, both at the same time. So what I noticed was the phone maxed out higher, but wasn't constant. But the router was constant. I don't know how they've come up with that number, to be honest. That's a bit strange. As you see, like it was really low, and it's building up, and it's slowly got to faster. Did it tell you the max speed that it did? Because that's not right. It should be the average speed, surely. But the upload speed is tiny compared to here. Oh. Right, speed test, same time. Are we good? Are we good? Looks like it. So that first day, I was very impressed, and I think what would be good is to look at some really good points, some slight improvements that I would like, and some perhaps reasoning behind why it's a 4G product, not a 5G product. So let's look at the positives, and there are some gleaming positives. The first one is the upload speed, which is 3 to 4 times quicker than what I was getting from my phone using like the tethering feature on my phone as a hotspot. That's huge for me. So uploading YouTube videos will be 4 times quicker. Uploading large files due to work, again 4 times quicker. And video calls and live streaming that I was hoping to do on the channel, that's all going to be possible, which it wouldn't have been before. Like, it was somewhere between 0.5 meg and 3 meg with the phone, which is just not good enough in terms of like that capability. It's just not there. For that alone, wow, that's a massive difference. Number 2 is the reliability of speed. So yes, at times I was peaking higher on the phone, but it was also dropping a lot lower. And for me, a constant speed is better than a peaking speed, especially mainly for the upload, but also for the download. So again, for things like video calls where you've got two-way data, if I've got a constant speed on both, I'm not sort of constantly going, is that a cat walking behind you? And then, oh, it's all back again and everything's all fine. For me, it makes it look really unprofessional when you've got something happening like that. And the third reason why this is actually much more beneficial to the way I work is that my phone is now free. And what that means is I can make a phone call while things are uploading. I can go to the shop while something's uploading. I can not get to the end of the day and my battery's completely dead. All of those things are massive. There's been so many times recently when I've wanted to whack upload on the video and then go out and about, and then you've got that dilemma: do I leave my phone at the boat uploading, and then you don't know whether it stayed connected because sometimes the hotspot drops out, or do you take the laptop with you? Neither of those are ideal. So being able to actually, I can leave it while it's uploading, go out and about, do what I need to do. By the time I get back, it's all done. Oh, it's a joy. It really, really is. So for me, those 3 positives are so great that they outweigh any of the improvements that I'd like to suggest for the future tenfold. Now, the first thing I'd like to say before I suggest any improvements is all of these improvements will come with a price rise on the product. So not always ideal, but perhaps this could be a second product. So keep this product and have an extra premium product. That would be something that I would love. I would happily pay more for in the future is 5G. Now, yes, 4G is across 99% of the population, and I use EE. The 4G service on EE is phenomenal. It's really, really fast, really, really steady. So for me, I don't really need it, but it future-proofs myself, and it potentially means that I get even faster upload speeds in certain areas of the country. Being very clear, that is certain areas of the country. 5G is not everywhere, and it won't be for some time. So let's be brutally honest that 5G is not needed, it's just wanted. Okay. My second improvement would be to add on 5 gigahertz on top of the 2.4 gigahertz in the router. So for those of you that don't know about router speeds and Wi-Fi and bits and bobs like that, so 2.4 gigahertz theoretically can go up to 600 megabits per second, but is most likely to top out at about 150 megabits per second in the real world. And that for me is really fast, but it would be really, really nice if there was the 5 gigahertz option as well, which takes you to, I think it's 1.3 gigabits in terms of theoretical speed, and generally tops out at about a gigabit. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I think it's about that. Now, the reason why I'd potentially want a 2.4 gigahertz and a 5 gigahertz is that should allow me to use 5 gigahertz for my personal stuff and 2.4 gigahertz as a guest Wi-Fi. And the reason I would like that is potentially if I went to somewhere like the Quick Boat Show kind of thing, somewhere where there's going to be lots of people, and I could get chatting to people and they've got no Wi-Fi. I'd like to be able to do give them a guest Wi-Fi which is separate to my Wi-Fi. If I'm, chatting away with people and they just need to get on the internet and they can't for some reason. Oi, oi, subscribe to the channel. Get me Wi-Fi. I'm not sure why the oi oi came out there. Oi, get your Wi-Fi here, son. Oi. It's not how boaters talk, is it? Another interesting thing about the two different types of Wi-Fi, 5 gigahertz doesn't travel as far, but it's faster. 2.4 gigahertz is slower but goes further. So actually in a boat, 2.4 gigahertz is much more beneficial because it will travel through things like if you've got any aluminium, if you've got any bits of wood, walls and stuff. Let's try that again, shall we? So another interesting thing about Wi-Fi is the 5 gigahertz doesn't actually travel as far and doesn't go through like wood and metal and stuff like that as well as the 2.4 gigahertz ones. So actually, if you're okay with 150 megabits per second, like 2.4 gigahertz is the better option. I'm not on it today. I'm talking absolute gobbledygook. What's the difference between the antennas? I hear you cry. Well, the standard ones in the box, the ones I was using as a drumstick. So the antennas, the LTE antennas, that are bring the signal into the boat. Are these standard ones any good? They're okay. The problem that you've got with them is that their positioning is not ideal. So they are positioned wherever you put the actual box, the actual Connect Lite. That might not be the ideal position for bringing 4G into the boat. It might be the ideal position for pushing the Wi-Fi through the boat, which is where you should put that box. Then you need to think about, where does my antenna need to be? For me, it needs to be in either that window or that window, ideally, or on top of the boat. I don't really want to drill a hole in my boat, just yet anyway. So the ideal antenna for me is the Play, because it is movable. You can put it wherever you like. The Pro is a permanent fixture. It's not designed to be moved from where it is.
Dan, I think you might have forgotten something.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Almost forgot. Here is a link, and it's also in the description below. You will get £20 off if you use the discount code CUTSLOOSE, and that is on any of the products that are listed in the below description. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't seen the video on the additional costs when buying a boat, then click here. Have a good one.